If you've ever sat wondering whether you should start with your printed photos or your digital ones, you are not alone. This single decision is often the reason people stall, give up, or decide that photo organizing is harder than it ever needed to be. Printed photos pull at you emotionally. Digital photos create a completely different kind of pressure. They feel endless rather than emotional. In this video, I'm going to help you decide where to start so you don't waste time, energy, or motivation. And make sure you stay to the end because I'll share a simple order to follow that takes the guesswork out of the whole process. The common mistakes. Most people start with printed photos because they feel more urgent and emotionally important. They're right there in front of you, taking up space, and it feels easier to tackle the thing that you can physically see rather than something hidden away on a device. There's also the common belief that printed photos are more at risk because there's only one copy. And yes, this is technically true, but to lose your printed photos usually takes a major disaster, such as fire or flood. And thankfully, these events are relatively rare. Digital photos, on the other hand, are far more vulnerable day to day. The risk feels smaller because it's invisible, but in reality, it's much higher. So people end up choosing the most visible problem rather than the one that is genuinely most at risk. Why digital photos should come first. If you haven't guessed it already, in most situations, digital photos are where you should start. The first reason is simple. Digital photos are most at risk. Losing them doesn't require a major disaster. It can be as simple as a dropped phone, failed hard drive, spilling your coffee, or something going wrong during a software update. Printed photos usually survive everyday life. Digital photos often don't. Digital photos also fit far more easily into real life. If your goal is to sort your phone or get control of your digital library, you can do this work on the go. Short sessions count. 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, adds up, and that momentum is incredibly powerful. And finally, digital photos give you tools that printed photos simply don't. There are some excellent apps and programs that can help you with the heavy lifting, from finding duplicates to filing photos in batches. This means you're not relying purely on willpower. The technology can do a lot of the work for you. If you're listening to this and thinking, this all makes sense, but I still don't know how to actually start, that's exactly what I help with inside my Photo Mess Success courses. They walk you step by step through sorting your digital photos first, building a structure that works for you, and then you can move on to printed photos when the time is right, without feeling overwhelmed or stuck. If you want support, clear guidance, and a plan you can follow at your own pace, you can find all the details at photomesssuccess.co.uk. But now, back to the exceptions, because there's always an exception. When printed photos should come first. Even though I usually recommend starting with digital photos, there are absolutely situations where printed photos should take priority. Inheritance projects are a big one. If you're dealing with someone else's photos, especially after bereavement, there may also be a time pressure, limited access, or a need to make decisions before items are distributed to family members. There are also genuinely time-sensitive situations where printed photos make sense as a first step. Anniversaries, funerals, milestone birthdays, or family events can create a clear deadline where specific printed photos are needed quickly. When there's a fixed date involved, the usual rules just don't apply. Another factor is access. If digital photos are locked away on a device you don't yet have the password for, or scattered across accounts you can't immediately get into, printed photos may simply be the most realistic place to start while those issues are being resolved. The key thing is that these are exceptions, driven by context and timing, not because printed photos are always the best starting point. Bonus tip, the simple order to follow. Now for that bonus tip I promised, a really simple order to follow that's really easy to put into practice. Begin with the current year. These photos are the easiest to recognize the quickest to decide, and they give you fast wins that build confidence. Once that feels manageable, work back into the recent past. You're still close enough to the memories that decisions stay relatively easy, but you're gradually reducing the overall volume. Only then do you move on to your printed photo archive. By this point, you already have a structure, you trust your judgment, and printed photos feel far less overwhelming than they did at the start. This order keeps momentum high and stops you getting stuck at the most emotional, time-consuming stage before you build confidence. If you have all your photos sorted and now want to share all those lovely memories, you should check out this little video next, where I'll show you how to share all those lovely photos once you've got them sorted, so they don't just sit on your phone or computer. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more photo organizing tips. Have fun rediscovering your memories. I'll see you in my next video.